What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the new demo for Neo, The World Ends With You. It came out yesterday, June 25th on PS4 and Switch, and I got a chance to sit down with the PS4 version for a while, and I wanted to give you guys my impressions of it. So, let's talk about it. So I'm going to structure this the same way I structure my reviews. I'm going to talk about the sound, the visuals, the battle system, and the story. So the story starts out with the main character, Rendo, having these visions of people in Shibuya fighting these monsters with psychic powers. And as that's happening, a meteor falls from the sky and destroys the city. He has no idea what these visions are, what they're about, or anything like that. But he's having one when the game starts, snaps out of it, and meets up with his friend Fret. Now his homie Fret gives him what's called a Reaper pin.
Ta-da! What is it? A Reaper pin, duh! Haven't you seen them on everyone's book bags?
Really cool looking pin, and as far as they know, they're just in style, and that's what all the kids are wearing on their backpacks apparently. They get the pins, they go grab some food. When they get back to Shibuya Crossing, they realize something weird is happening. Explosions start going off. And they think that this is part of a movie, like they just stumbled onto a movie set. But then they notice that they're the only ones that are paying attention to anything that's going on. Come to realize, the vision that Rendo is having is starting to come true. And once it starts happening, they decide to run. And while they're running, a truck flips and lands right on top of Fred.
I've seen this before.
Now, rewind, and what he can do this time is change the fate of Fret. Now this is interesting because there's a scene where it looks like Rendo is entering some kind of game, some kind of like 3D world, and I have questions about that because when you find out what they're doing and why they're there and how they get there, it doesn't seem like Rendo got there the same way. On top of which, what is the game? What is all this other stuff that's going on around him? Why does everybody else seem to know what's going on while they seem completely lost about the situation? That's pretty much the story, and holy crap, I gotta know what happens next. This sounds really interesting to me. The whole concept of them being trapped in a game that they have no idea how they got there, cool. The fact that there's this mystery surrounding the entire thing, like what is the prize? You know what happens when you come in last place. You kind of know what happens when you come in first place, but what happens to everyone else in the middle? Are you trapped in this game for eternity until you win or lose? Or do you play so many rounds before they just decide to get rid of you anyway? I don't know, man, but I gotta find out the answers to all these questions. This story's got me hooked, so I'm ready to jump in and find out more. Now the sound and the visuals for this game are extremely unique. As you can see in the art behind me, the character designs are very unique, very Nomura-esque, and as all of you know Nomura does have a hand in this franchise. The soundtrack for this game is extremely unique. A blend of hip hop, metal, like mellow tunes. Ishimoto really put his foot in this soundtrack, so to speak. It's really amazing, and it's just fun to sit there and cycle through the tracks. Pro tip, if you go to the menu and go back to the game, the song changes. So you can go to whatever song you prefer to listen to while you're running around the world map. As far as the visuals go, this game looks amazing. It has its own unique style, which you can see through the character designs, you can see through the world of Shibuya itself, even in some of the NPCs that you interact with in the city, and then the other characters, the other major players, the Reapers, the other players in the game, everyone looks and sounds so cool. The one issue I did have were the NPCs themselves. they don't have eyes and their faces just look blank all the time. Now, once you get into the game and you figure out what's going on, I let that criticism go because I feel like that it fits with what's happening in the world, the situation that you're in. It makes sense that no one can see you. Let's just put it that way. But overall, very impressed with the soundtrack, very impressed with the game. The little bit that I've heard, I can only assume that the rest of the soundtrack is going to be amazing. Now, the battle system. Keep in mind, this is a demo of the beginning of the game. So the battle system itself is not going to be deep or fleshed out at this point. So keep that in mind. Now, with that being said, what is here is really, really fun to play. So the battle system goes a little like this. You move with the left trigger or the left stick. You can dodge yourself with the right stick. You equip what are called pins. Each pin has a special ability, and each pin is activated by a different button on the controller. So think if you ever played Valkyrie Profile and how your characters were assigned to the 4 face buttons, your pins work the exact same way. So for example, Rendo gets a clip at the beginning or a pin at the beginning of the game where he does a sword attack. That pin is mapped to triangle. And no matter who you equip that pin to or equip that pin to, the attack is going to activate with the same button. Now, as of now in the demo, you cannot stack pins on the same button, but the game does tell you that you'll be able to do that later on. As of now, 1 pin per button. Now, as you're attacking, once you meet special conditions, which seem to be in the demo right now, just striking the enemy with the very last hit of your attack, it brings up what's called the drop beat gauge. Yeah, it brings up the drop beat gauge. Once that gauge appears, attack with the psych of a different character and it'll do a critical hit. Keep your combo going and fill up the what is this called? It's another dope name. What's it called? Mashup attack. Mashups like DJs. Yeah, it'll do your mashup attack. So once you get that attack up to 100%, you press circle and it does a super attack, which changes depending on the character and the pin they have equipped. And these things do significant damage. You can really rely on them because the meter builds pretty fast, and the battle system itself it has this cool little mini game of trying to keep your combo going while trying to keep your energy bar for your psych filled. I didn't tell you guys that. Your attacks have a bar underneath, and you can only attack so many times before your bar drains. Once your bar completely drains, you have to wait for it to fill back up before you can attack again. So while you're attacking and doing combos, you're also managing this meter at the same time. That doesn't sound deep, but it can get pretty deep. And then once you start getting attacks that stack on the same button, I have so many questions about that. Do they share a meter? Not gonna get into that right now. But speaking of sharing meter, you do share your HP among your characters. And when you press the buttons to attack with the different characters, that switches to that character. So keep that in mind as you're attacking, and keep that in mind when you want to use your super attack. Overall, this battle system is very, very fun, and it seems like it can get pretty deep. I'm really curious to see what other wrinkles they introduce, but what is here now in the demo is really fun to play. The game feels really good to control, and the battle system's a lot of fun. All right, everybody, so to wrap this up, my final impressions of The World Ends With You. So far, it looks like Square Enix has a hit on their hands. This is just a demo. It's just the first 2 chapters of the game. It took me about a little under 2 hours to finish the demo, and you get to keep your save data for the real version of the game too, so all your progress carries over. You have a level cap of 15, so you can max your characters out to level 15, port them into the real game, and get a pretty good head start on it. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with the demo, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on the full game. I'm confident that this game is going to be fun, and I'm confident that it's going to have a very, very interesting story. I'm really curious to see if my suspicions are correct about Rendo and how he is basically, I think he's the Neo. I think he's the one that flips everything on its head. And I'm really interested to see if that happens and how that happens. The visual and the story, the visuals and the music, top notch. I have no doubts about either one of those two things. And the battle system has an extremely solid foundation. And I feel like it can only get better from where it is. So yeah, guys, those are my impressions of the game. If you have any comments, questions, if there's anything you want to talk about that you feel I glossed over or missed, please leave them in the comments. Again, I thank you for watching. I thank you for your support, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.